All right. Not going the way we wanted tonight. All right, Jacob, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, I can.
Okay, perfect. Sorry about that.
All right. No, you're good. You're good. I didn't have my headphones turned on. Hey, nice walk from Jonathan India.
My guy.
Our guy.
Our guy.
Leader of men.
Of course.
That was a I'm sure we'll talk about that because that's my mentions tonight are all about that. Jacob, how you doing? Welcome to Chatterbox Reds. Sorry that you came on a downer of a game, at least so far.
At least so far. We still have time left. This team's never out of it, so I'll take the last 3 outs until I fully give up. But I was certainly hoping I was going to be able to take some fireball shots with you guys on my debut, but we'll have to keep it for later.
I mean, you could still do sad fireball shots. I mean,
no.
There's no
fireball shot is straight painful.
There's no rules here.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
The one clear positive, though, there was a long stretch there I was worried I was going to be coming on here talking about the Reds getting no hit. So that was.
That would kind of be fun, though. I'm not going to lie.
It would be.
I mean, at least it would be interesting. All right. Sorry. Stupid Dayton couldn't end quick enough tonight, so got to try to add them in. So we got a nice little graphic for you. Talk some Reds minor leagues later on. So, Jacob, tell the folks who don't know you what you do for Chatterbox, what you do school and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, guys. So my name's Jacob Tissett. I've been interning with Chatterbox this summer. I work on Off the Bench in the mornings, Thom Brennaman's daily show, and just do stuff around the office for the folks over at Chatterbox in Hamilton. I go to school down in Alabama. Just finished my junior year, headed down for my senior year here at the beginning of August. And yeah, it's a great way to spend your summer working with Chatterbox Sports.
Yeah, you do a great job on the show. So I knew when we had Trace out this week, we had to get you on for at least one show. So excited to have you on. Talk some Reds. Nice to get some, especially on having these losses. It's nice to get someone else's input because you can only say so much when you're the guy who does this every night.
Oh, I'm sure.
Thankfully, we haven't had a whole lot of losses to talk about.
No.
In the last, season.
9 of the next, 16 against the Brewers, though, Nick? We're going to get tired about talking about this lineup.
Yeah. A lot of games with these Brewers. I'll save some of it for the show on the Brewers, but all right. I thought for sure, man. Game starting an hour later, I could get all these minor league scores put in here, but stupid Dayton had to have a 7-hour game, so I gotta try to add them in.
They never make it easy on you.
And they never do. Come on, guys, figure it out. We'll talk about this in a minute, but Jay Allen was 0 for 5, but he had 2 stolen bases. Have you ever seen that?
No, I don't think I have.
I didn't get to watch the game because the stupid MLB TV decided.
What's up with that?
I got like a whole setup for this new thing where I have smart things on multiple TVs and I can kind of watch a bunch of games, and they really screwed the pooch on there.
Yeah. I haven't been watching as much minor league baseball as I was early in the year because the Reds are actually fun to watch now. So,
yeah,
there was a couple months there where the bats were exponentially better to watch than the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah, the bats still have an exciting lineup, but it's not near like peak LECES McLean.
McLean, of course.
That was something.
Oh, just catching the replay of Fraley fouling that off his leg.
All right.
Not good.
Hey, I'd love for them to have to bring in Devin Williams here.
Yeah. How often does he pitch for them? Is he kind of like Diaz? Is it he can't go more than?
I'm pretty sure that's been like Council's MO forever.
Right.
Like he's been a dead set on that. I'm checking it now, but
well, I remember the same thing with when Hader was there. They would never overuse him, especially in his prime.
Yeah. I don't see more than 2 in a row. He has not gone 3 in a row all season. So yeah, I mean, if you get him in this game, can't pitch all 3 games. I don't know though. Joey Ricotta, I love that guy. We gotta hook him and Reed Mouse up. Joey does a Cubs podcast, really good dude. We gotta get those 2 dudes at Wrigley going nuts together. You know, watching a 85 loss team this year with $190 million payroll. Love you guys.
I mean,
Uh-oh.
Oh my God.
Get Devin up, Craig. You better get him up. You know what, Reed? I hope you jinx this, man.
That'd be great.
This, but nonetheless, congrats, Reed, on your first good night in 2 months to this point.
First Cubs win ever at Wrigley Field or at Yankee Stadium
in the Bronx. Yeah, that is wild. I mean that is
wild,
insane. Just that's bad luck. I mean, I'll be honest. To lose that many games. Tying run on deck.
That's what I said. If we have outs left, don't mail it in yet.
Joey, I love the Jameson Taillon signing. I thought that was one of the best signings of the offseason. It clearly shows what I know.
Oh, of course, we're gonna drag this out.
Jacob, did Reds number 3 hitter Jonathan India start this rally?
I think he might have. One of my favorite player on the team. I love him hitting third. It's just nothing better. I do agree with you though, Nick. It doesn't mean a whole lot. It seems like day after day. I mean, he's at 9 grounded double plays now. He leads the team. Like it just feels like every day it's something else. Like him hitting third. It's just.
We'll get into it. We'll save it for the show. Course. We'll save it for the show. Rain is the reason the Cubs won. I love this chat, man. You guys are awesome. Even the haters. Love you too. Nah, Jim, you can't ban Reed because I think Trace makes him go places at like 5 a.m. Is that right? Does Reed do all like the grunt jobs?
It seems like it. It seems like it.
Every time I hear something, it's Reed drove 15 hours to deliver an envelope. All right, Devin Williams. Hey, this is big. This is big time. This is huge.
We don't take moral victories, but this is a moral victory.
Now he's going to pitch all 3 games in the series. Just because. Yeah. I mean, this is a different situation. Obviously, Sunday would be
going into the break.
So it would be a little different. But Craig Counsellor has been an absolute stickler about things like that. I don't know if a fault because I mean the Brewers have had a lot of success, so I think they know what they're doing, but could be worse. Jacob, the Cardinals were up 5-0, and they're down 8-7, down to their last out to the Chicago White Sox.
I keep saying every day that it can't stay this bad in St. Louis for much longer, but it keeps getting worse.
Jacob, the Cardinals feel like a team that's going to trade a bunch of players at the deadline and then somehow like get better and play better in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, I've I've been alive for 21 years. I've never seen a second half where the Cardinals don't play well.
Yeah,
So Elliot's been pounding it in my head every morning that they're going to win 17 straight again and claw back.
They were pretty bad in 2010 in the second half.
That's fair.
I mean, I don't know what their total second half record was, but it's funny. It's actually a thought about like this series is in 2010, everyone made such a big deal about this Reds Cardinals series. Cardinals come in, they sweep the Reds. Reds are toast. That's it. And then like the Reds just win every game, and the Cardinals lose every game after that. It's funny how these series, oftentimes a week or two later, we get reminded this is a 162 game season. It's not, as fun as these series are. I'm not trying to take away from how fun, and this is a very important series. Don't get me wrong, but it's not going to be the deciding factor on this season, most likely, in my opinion.
Yeah, the other thing with the new schedule is you just don't play these teams that much. Like we're gonna play the Brewers 9 more times. Like it's not like those are gonna make or break really where we finish in the standings. We played, a bunch of other games. You got to win those too.
Would you pinch run for Votto? I don't know. I mean, he's not the tying run. I mean, if you do tie the game, you're probably going into extra. If you keep this game alive, you're probably going to extra innings. I don't know if I'd risk that. I don't think Votto's gonna do anything stupid on the base paths. If he was on first, maybe it's a little different.
Devin Williams' 4th appearance in the last 6 days. That bodes well for him not pitching the last 2 games of the series, or at least one of them.
He's his last appearance, he blew the save against the Cubs. It was one of only 3 outings all year that he gave up a run.
Wow.
I mean, he's been really dominant, but he's had a couple times where he did get not lit up, but gave up several runs.
I always say it feels like I've seen Devin Williams a million times and the Reds have gotten 5 hits off of him. Just anytime he comes into the game, I feel like he mows him down. But I guess that's not just the Reds. That's pretty much anyone.
Yeah, I mean, he's been pretty elite.
It's crazy that they're able to trade a guy like Hader last year and not really lose anything at the end of games in close situations, save situations.
Who'd they get for Hader?
I'm not even sure.
The Brewers have made a lot of really smart trades over the years, so I'm just assuming whoever they got is going to be the next All-Star. They got
Taylor Rogers, Dinelson Lamet, Robert Gasser, and Asturi Ruiz.
Ooh. Yeah, that trade's not looking good. Ruiz is in AAA, right?
Yeah.
He got demoted. Rogers was a one and done, right? Lamet got DFA'd.
Yeah, I know Lamet got DFA'd. Rogers certainly isn't there anymore.
Gasser's got a ERA of almost 4 at AAA. Yeah. Oh, come on. That wasn't a strike.
Yeah, there's been a couple of those tonight, I feel like. More than a couple.
That's a good pitch. I mean, don't get me wrong, but it's a tough one, man. You're not going to hit that against Williams. All right. Yeah, Williams, you have to go after him. Tyler Stevenson, let's go.
All right.
His team, man.
All right.
Nick Senzel coming into pinch hit. All right. For Maley. Hey, I mean, he had a home run yesterday.
Yeah. Holy cow. If we can pull this off.
This might be the fork of the Brewers season.
Yeah. No, if we can pull this off.
Total overreaction.
100%. Exactly what we just said not to do about the Reds.
They're toast. Nick Senzel hits a home run here. Build the statue.
If Nick Senzel hits a home run, a grand slam here, that's got to be one of the best 2-game stretches.
Yeah. Ew. All right, we're up to 12 pitches.
It's little things. It's little things.
Cardinals lose.
Always good.
Good vibes. Oh, Nick. Oh. Well, where are you at? I didn't even try to sync this up because I thought this game was going to be over.
I thought so too. I'm like one pitch behind you, but it's
okay.
All right.
I'll try to settle down and let you see what happens.
If he hits a grand slam, I give you free reign.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be able to calm down. You see it?
Yeah, it's a shame.
All right.
That's a shame.
Let's do a show, Jacob.
Let's do a show.
High drive, left center field, racing back to the world bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did! He did! Red win! Line to the right field. Genius, the first run ever. With 4 home runs in a game. Can you believe it? In the air, down the right field line. Doesn't have a chance. The Reds have won on a 3-run home run on opening day by Ramon Hernandez. A strike away and out away is Homer Bailey. Ground ball to third. Frazier gloves. Throw to first, and Homer Bailey, for the second time in his major league career, has tossed the no-hitter. Oh, are you kidding me? Holy Moses, the second player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win it. What a dream beginning to a career of Jay Bruce.
All right, what is going on? Welcome to Chatterbox Reds. Nick Kirby joined with my guy Jacob. And Jacob, tough night for the Reds, but good to see you here with us tonight. think we might have you.
There we go. I don't know what's going on with that when it comes back, but thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here. Could have went better for the Redlegs, but we'll still have a show to do.
Yeah. Tough 7-3 loss. We'll run through the box score recap. Not a whole lot to go through, but nonetheless, we'll run through it. Andrew Abbott, he came in today's start having only allowed a total of 5 runs through his first 6 starts, but he gave up 4 runs in the first 2 innings, and the Reds were quickly down 4-0. Corbin Burns had not allowed a hit to the Reds through the first 3 innings, but Elly De La Cruz had a leadoff single in the 4th. And then later in the inning, Joey Votto hit a 417-foot home run. He's already got 6 home runs to cut the Brewers' lead to 4-2. Bottom of the 5th, though, Andrew Abbott gave up a 2-run home run to Willy Adames, and the Reds fell behind 6-2. Brewers got another run. Reds did fight back in the 9th, had the tying run at the plate, were able to get Brewers closer Devin Williams into the game, but unfortunately fell short. Reds are now just a measly 20-5 in their last 25 games, and their lead in the NL Central is down to 1 game. Jacob, big series, not the result we were looking for tonight.
No, not at all, but there's 2 games left. We're still a game up. Can still take the series, can still go into the All-Star break with a lead in the division, so a lot of bright days ahead for the Reds. This is just, bump in the road in the season of 162.
Did you feel like this series was a just win one, or what was kind of your thoughts going into it?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously you want to win every series, but I think it's crucial not to get swept. We've done so well lately of just winning games, staying competitive. Even the Braves series where you lose 2 games, you're in it every game. Even tonight, we have the tying run in the batter's box at the end of the game. So it's important to stay competitive in every game. Definitely don't want to get swept to the team in second, but just winning one is definitely crucial.
Yeah, so let's start with Andrew Abbott tonight. Final line for him: 4 1/3 innings pitched, 9 hits, 6 earned runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts, 2 home runs allowed. Obviously, as mentioned in the box score recap, he'd only allowed 5 earned runs coming into today. Today allowed 6. So not the performance we've seen out of Abbott all year. Probably worth noting, this is the first time that he's faced a team twice in a season. So, yeah, that was interesting. DG, we'll get to your super chat here. Thank you for watching. Appreciate you. Is this the worst umpire we played against all year? W for making them throw Williams tonight. We'll be back tomorrow. Jacob, what was your thoughts on this? I honestly, a little early in the game, I wasn't able to really be fully invested. Kids going to bed right around the start of the game. What was your thoughts on the strike zone?
Yeah, I didn't think it was great. It definitely wasn't consistent. But I'm going to wait till the scorecard comes out before I make an actual decision. The box on the TV can always be misleading. So it definitely wasn't great. Certainly wasn't consistent, but I'll hold off some reservations on deeming him the worst of the year.
Yeah, there was one earlier in the year that, man,
yeah, I remember. I forget exactly what it was, but I remember the card.
There's no way anything could be worse than that. I don't know. I guess I should never say never. But Abbott tonight, I mean, I think it was a team seeing him twice that's kind of got a second look. And I think he just left too many pitches over the middle of the zone against a team that's already seen him. And that was kind of the results. Kind of what was your thoughts on this performance tonight?
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to have a 1.2 ERA through the whole season. That's just not a realistic expectation for a rookie. And, through 6 starts, that's amazing. And we thank him for it. But you knew the blow up was going to happen eventually. It's going to happen to all these guys. They're going to come back to earth at some point. You would love for it to not be against the Brewers on a marquee game, Friday night. Everyone's watching the Reds. But, if we're going to get it out of the way, let's get out of the way now. Let's get back to being Andrew Abbott that we all know and love.
Let's go to a more positive before we get to maybe some of the negative things. Joey Votto, 2 for 4, double and a home run. Already has 6 home runs.
Unbelievable.
I just, man, it is incredible how much power this guy still has at 39 years old.
Over half of his hits are home runs. It's unbelievable. I was talking to one of my friends earlier today during the game after his first home run. I said, if you would have time traveled back to 2010 and told a Reds fan that in 13 years, Joey Votto was going to be a power hitter on a better hitting roster, they would have slapped you in the face and sent you to a mental ward. So, I'll take what I can get. It's fun to watch him up there hitting home runs.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's a great point that you bring up. If I would have thought back when the Reds signed that contract, I think I probably even said, Joey Votto at the end of this contract is probably going to be the guy that has like a 375 on base percentage, but doesn't really slug a whole lot.
Exactly.
And he's the exact opposite.
Right.
He's only has a 240 average, but still has a 976 OPS. It's really just remarkable, how well he's seeing the ball, how he's I think evolved to,
Absolutely.
get the maximum ability out of what he still has left.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. He's, using what he does have, and he's helping the team compete. And that's what we worried about when we called him up. We're like, how does he fit in the roster? Is he going to just be a pity play every day kind of thing? And he hasn't been. Granted, the average isn't as high as you'd like, but can't complain about 6 home runs. I mean, that guy's contributing.
Good point here by Chris Ashley. Yeah, it kind of does have that Jim Thome feel. That's a really good a good comp. I do like that. Even maybe a little bit of like Jason Giambi at the end of his career as well. So, yeah, the greats find a way to continue to contribute, and Joey Votto is, I think, the greatest Reds hitter, or at least the second greatest Reds hitter, depending on if you want to, how much you want to give Frank Robinson.
Pete.
No, come on.
No, it's not.
Okay. Jacob, I thought we were going to end the stream right here, brother.
No,
I was like, what are we doing here? All right.
I know where you stand on that. I had to.
We won't get into that today. Ellie Taylor Cruz, he also had a pretty nice night. 1 for 3, walk, stole his 13th base of the season. Does it feel to you that Ellie's hitting 325 with a 903 OPS? Does it somehow feel like he hasn't even been
started?
Yeah.
When I was looking at his stats when we hit the exact month point yesterday, I obviously, kind of knew where his stats were, but I even expected him to be lower than when I actually saw the numbers. I mean, it's unbelievable how much he's doing. And I think we would all unanimously agree that he has not scratched the surface of what he can do on a daily basis.
Yeah. Yeah. Ellie's, man, he's been nothing short of spectacular. And I don't even think we've seen the best of him. I can't wait till he really just has one of these 10-game stretches where really showing his power and all that kind of stuff. But yeah. All right, let's get into it. I've said my piece on this. I'm done. I know the topic of the night in the Reds' 4-run loss was Jonathan India batting third and how terrible that is. What's your thoughts on this?
Hey, you're 20-5 in your last 25 games. How much are you messing with the lineup? I know you've pointed out that out before, but I mean, that's true. That's the truth of the situation. You don't mess with something when it's working night in and night out. Now, coming out of the All-Star break, regardless of how these other 2 games go, you're taking time off. I don't think there's any reason Jonathan India's batting third coming out of the break. If you want to keep him there these next 2 games, that's fine. Stay consistent. I think Spencer Steer has to move up in the lineup, and Jonathan India is the easy choice to move him down.
For the record, folks, when I play MLB The Show, I have India batting 8th. So don't get me wrong. Like I
have India on the Angels.
Oh man. So Jacob, I'm kind of to this point with India where I was at the beginning of the year, I think Reds fans probably overvalue this guy. I thought he probably was a good trade candidate. Now I'm kind of flip-flopping. Now I'm kind of man, now I think he's being undervalued. I think he's being underappreciated because he had a really bad month. I'm going to say it. I know a lot of people are going to hate this, but I should point out Jonathan India has a higher expected weighted on-base average than Spencer Steer does right now. So there's a possibility that we could see the second half, those 2 players completely flip. I don't think it would be crazy if Jonathan India outperforms Spencer Steer in the second half. Do you think I'm crazy saying that?
I don't think you're crazy. I wouldn't say it's likely. I mean, Jonathan India is killing the baseball just directly at the 9 fielders lately. So, those are going to find the ground eventually. But, Spencer Steer just comes out there and plays baseball every day. I just have a feeling that he's just going to kind of be even keel the rest of the year, just produce day in and day out. And maybe that's wishful thinking. He is a rookie after all. It feels like he's been here a lot longer than the rest of these guys. But, yeah, I just love Spencer Steer so much, and I've planted my flag so firmly in the trade India camp that I can't waver at this point.
Can't waver. Well, again, it all depends on what's being offered in return, because I think we both agree we're not giving Jonathan Indy away. We better be getting some really, really good pieces. I don't think it has to be major league talent like some people think. I think it could be players down in that would enter into Daytona. I think there'd be nothing wrong with that, but they better be really talented players that you're getting back if you're going to make a move like that. Anything else, Jacob? Any other observations on this game? On the Reds in general? We haven't had you on. I'm going to give you the floor. What other things are you interested in with this Reds team right now?
Well, I mean, we know the big question is the rotation. And my biggest issue right now with the Reds is everyone's pounding the table for us to go get a pitcher. And they want, there's names being floated around. You hear Michael Lorenzen all the time. You hear Lance Lynn all the time. My question right now for the Reds is there's only so many of these 3, 4, 5 guys available. There's not really any 1-2s unless you want to spend really big, which I certainly don't want the Reds to do. I know you don't either, prospect-wise. Are we going to be forced to overpay for a middle-of-the-rotation arm just because the market is so small? And if that is the case, do we even do it? Is it worth it?
I don't think Nick Krall's going to overpay.
Right. I mean, more from a fan perspective.
Yeah, I don't.
Mad if we don't trade for a starting pitcher, but if there's not one out there that meets the price Nick Krall is willing to pay, I don't think we do it.
I don't think Nick Krall gives a damn about people's feelings, and I think that's why I love him the most.
Right.
I don't think he cares.
The whole city turned on him in the span of 6 weeks, so half the city hated him at the beginning of this year.
He's just, man, last year, oh my gosh, it was tough on those Nick Krall supporting streets, and it's turned. But yeah, if he doesn't get it with the trade deadline, it'll completely flip back around.
Absolutely.
I think Nick Krall's gonna be riding this wave of it'd be like a president with his approval rating. But I don't know. They typically just go down. I think he'll be up and down.
Yeah. And then Noel will come up at the end of the year, and his approval rating will be through the roof.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We got a big one tomorrow. Let's jump right into that. Luke Weaver, Dream Weaver tomorrow, coming off a good outing. He's coming off a good 8 1/3 innings because 2 starts ago in Baltimore got shelled the first inning, but then went on to pitch very well the rest of the game. So he's only allowed 2 runs over the last 8 1/3 inning. Do you have faith in Dream Weaver to get it done tomorrow?
That is not the Luke Weaver magic I have come to know and love. So I don't know what I'd prefer tomorrow, an 11-10 win or a 3-2 win, but I'll take either one because we don't lose on Luke Weaver night. So whichever way he decides to do it, I'm cool with.
That is true. The last start was the first time in 5 straight starts that he didn't allow a run in the first inning. So definitely a different. Weaver's kind of had an interesting year. Remember at the beginning there, he wasn't necessarily pitching well, but he was striking out a lot of batters.
Right.
Over his last 5 starts, he struck out 2, 3, 1, and 3 batters. Kind of interesting this season with him. I think he's trying to just figure things out. But this is a huge start for him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like we said when we were talking about tonight's game, you got to win one in this series. And if you can win tomorrow, it makes, the next day a little easier. So, you got to go out there. We know we have to hit when Luke Weaver's on the mound. You'd love it if he can go out there and, not allow a run in the first inning before, not let things really get out of hand. But this team knows what's on their plate tomorrow. And they're going to come out and they're going to perform.
Yeah, some other notes here on Luke Weaver. Weaver has been better on the road. Now, granted, still not great. He's got a 5.8 ERA and 8 starts on the road, ERA of almost 8 at home. He hasn't faced the Brewers since 2018. That seems kind of wild. Does have a career 3.58 ERA and 5 starts at American Family Field, also known as Miller Park. Christian Yelich, though, has 2 home runs against him. And then Jesse Winker's 2 for 5. We should expect to see Jesse Winker in the lineup tomorrow. Reds going up against Colin Ray. Ray relies on 6 pitches, a sinker, cutter, 4-seam fastball, sweeper, and curveball, and split finger. Fastball averages 93. 20% of his strikeouts come on the cutter. This is a guy, he's had a really wild career, Jacob. Made his MLB debut for the Padres in 2015. He's kind of had an up and down career. He had Tommy John surgery in 2017. In July of 2016, Ray was part of a 7-player deal between the Padres and Marlins. He went to the Marlins, made one start, and he got hurt. And the Marlins shipped him back to the Padres. Do you know what player came back that was returned
I
to
don't.
the Marlins?
I don't know.
Luis Castillo.
Wow.
So Luis Castillo would have been on the Padres if not for Colin Ray getting hurt. So it's kind of, I don't know, kind of an interesting fun fact when I was kind of looking through Colin Ray, a little bit about him. He pitched very well over his last 2 starts, got a 2.08 ERA. Reds did see him back on June 3rd. If you might remember, that was the game that Graham Ashcraft got absolutely lit up. Ray pitched okay, but it's kind of hard to really probably judge him because he had a huge lead. 5 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, struck out 5. Jake Fraley, though, 3 for 3 with a home run against him. So, yeah, kind of an interesting matchup. I think this is probably a good matchup for the Reds offense. The Brewers still haven't announced a starting pitcher on Sunday. So that's kind of another interesting. I don't think the Reds have either. That's kind of another interesting development to watch here.
You would think Sunday for the Brewers is Tehran, right?
Yeah, what Wade Miley also is would be on normal rest for a normal pitcher. They have a 6-man rotation.
Oh, on ESPN it now says Wade Miley for Sunday.
That makes sense. I mean, I would think you'd rather go with him. Brewers have been they've done a 6-man rotation a lot.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I never know how to feel about a 6-man rotation. It feels to me like 2 quarterbacks in college football. If you have 6 starting pitchers, you don't really have one. Just get 5 guys out there, run through your 5-day rotation, and just do it like it was meant to be done.
Sorry. Dealing with a little congestion tonight. But yeah, so I don't know. It's hard to argue with the Brewers results. So they've had some really great pitching numbers. So I don't know about that. All right. Anything else on this game, or should we jump into some Reds minor league talk?
No, I think we kind of covered it.
All right. Here's what happened in the Reds minor league system tonight. Start off with AAA. Louisville Bats got back in the win column with a 10-4 win over Toledo. Stuart Fairchild 1 for 2 with a double and a walk. Christian Encarnacion Strand 2 for 5. Jose Barrera 1 for 4. And then Alec Mills made his return and pitched pretty well. 3 2/3 innings. Just 1 run allowed. Did strike out 4. Novi Marte not in the lineup because he will be in the Futures game tomorrow night. Jacob, who down at AAA kind of stands out to you right now?
Well, obviously Noelva. I mean, you got to love what he's been able to do. Elliot has gotten me to come somehow around on Chucky Robinson and think that he has some way that he can do something to help this team. And I don't know what it is or how, but he's convinced me.
Some of these AAA numbers are just
they're
wild.
They're
like Matt Reynolds. I don't even, man, it's so hard to judge how much stock you should put in them or not.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, down to AA. Chattanooga following their 29-run performance on Thursday night. They did lose 5-4 to Rocket City. Vaughn Johnson hit his 13th home run of the year. He was a guy that was on the Reds' top 30 prospect list, fell off. He was hurt most of last year. Low average, but is hitting for a lot of power. And then Blake Dunn, my guy, stole 2 bases now. He's got 32 stolen bases so far this year.
Wow.
So he's doing pretty well. He got promoted from Dayton. Down to Dayton, they lost 8-5 to Great Lakes in 10 innings. Jay Allen, as mentioned before we went live, was 0 for 5, but somehow stole 2 bases tonight. He's finally back for Dayton. Edwin Arroyo was 1 for 3 with 2 walks, and Austin Hendrick was 1 for 4. Anyone at down with the Dragons, Arroyo or Allen, Hendrick, anyone down there stand out to you? Any of the pitchers?
I love Chase Petty. I feel like Chase Petty can really turn into something that can help this team down the line as a real part of this rotation. I mean, he was a top prospect before he came over here. And, he hasn't really been great for us, in the minors. He hasn't pitched a whole lot, but I think he can be really special.
Yeah, I really like Chase Petty. I think that he might really make change a lot of people's perspective on that Sonny Gray trade down the line. And then Daytona, they lost 9-5 to Bradenton. Sal Stewart, though, he stayed hot. He has been on an absolute tear of late, 2 for 3 with a walk. Hector Rodriguez had a double, and then Cam Collier was 1 for 4. All right, we got a question from Alex on Twitter. Wanted to run it by you, Jacob. He said, if you could add any Reds player from 2015 to 2022 to this team, who would you add?
Now, I know we have 3 catchers, so we'd have to move one around, but getting actual prime Gold Glove Tucker Barnhart would be a nice addition. That'd be a great defensive help to this team. And I think you kind of have to go corner outfield just out of necessity. I mean, the infield's kind of rock solid right now. You're not moving. I mean, I'm going to say you're not moving India. Don't clip that, but you're not moving India out of second base. Yes, I mean, I think you probably go catcher. Maybe you go with a reliever. You go. I mean, if you can add, we were talking about adding old Chapman before Diaz. If you can add real Chapman before Diaz, or even Diaz before Chapman, in that case, that'd be special.
Was Cueto on the team in 2015?
I believe so.
Yeah, he was. He got traded. Yeah, I think I'm going Johnny Cueto.
Yeah, that's a safe guess. Or
yeah, I think prime Johnny Cueto. I think that was
better than the prime Johnny Cueto.
I think he'd look pretty good. I mean, you also could do Luis Castillo. I still fully support that trade. I think in the long run that'll work out. But if I could just add a player and still keep, Noelvi Marte and Edwin Arroyo, sure, I'd love to still have Castillo. But unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. These players are free agents. But all right, I don't really have anything else. Not really seeing anything else in the chat. Chat, if you got anything else and you want to throw in a question real quick, we'll get to it. If not, going to wrap this bad boy up. Try to save my voice here for the final 2 games.
It's a rough game to try to talk about. Not a whole lot of exciting moments.
Yeah, not a whole lot. This is what Trace is elite at. Trace is elite at making big things out of nothing and making a good show. I'm not. I'm more of a to the point kind of guy. Would you trade Marte for Castillo now? No. I mean, especially if it's only for 2 months. I mean, no, man.
That's the one thing a lot of people seem to not realize about that trade. Luis Castillo was not signing an extension here. Like that's not in the cards. Nick Kroll tried to do that. You'd think they tried to have that conversation and saw it wasn't going the right way, so you had to move him. I mean, maybe I'm way off, but there's no way he's signing that deal here.
I don't even think if he would, it matters. I mean, I think the thing a lot of people miss is not only did you get Noelvi Marte and Edwin Arroyo and Levi Stout, you also still have that $144 million that you would have spent on Luis Castillo that you could spend back into something else. They've already spent maybe a tiny piece of that into Hunter Green. They'll invest that into other places. So I think the culmination of that is what made, I think, the move a no-brainer. I think the Reds need to continue to make moves like that are going to hurt, because I think that I don't want this to be the only year that the Reds have multiple prospects that they're bringing up that are impact players. I think this should be an every single year thing. Maybe not, obviously not to this extent. You're not going to do this every year. But I think that the years where you have just 1 or 2 nice little players come up and that's it, that can't happen very often. It's got to be impact players continuing to come through. And that just makes everything else around the Reds easier. It makes, when you're trying to fill holes with signing free agents, it makes it easier when you can fill it from within. But let's look at the Reds. Look at the Reds this year. The Reds needed starting pitching. I know he didn't pitch well tonight, but is anyone anyone that you could trade for better than Andrew Abbott right now? Like,
I mean, I certainly don't think so.
So, I mean, if you're bringing up players like that, it makes a lot of the other things not as big of a deal. But let's do it. Would you trade the farm for Ohtani? No way in hell I would do it.
No. The one qualifier I would say is maybe it's a conversation if he signs an extension. Like, you're not doing it for a 2-month rental, but trading the whole farm for a decade of Shohei Ohtani, then you can have a talk about it.
All right, people can clip this up if they want. I think the Shohei Ohtani contract will age very poorly for whoever signs it. Whoever signs, it's going to be whatever, $500 million.
Oh, I would assume.
Maybe over 700 million. I don't think it's going to age well.
He didn't pitch for his first 2 years over here.
Yeah, no one has any idea how the wear and tear. I mean, I know doesn't look like he's human, but that wear and tear, man, I don't know. I don't think it'll age. I don't think it's going to age well. I think there's maybe like 2 or 3 teams that could sign it, and if it doesn't age poorly, survive it, like the Dodgers and the Yankees, and maybe the Mets. But I don't know. I don't think it's going to age well. So I'm out on that. Clip me up in 5 years if he's still a 10-WAR player.
Is there any bad contract the Mets can overcome? I'm starting to think now. Well, I guess not yet, but we'll see. Steve Cohen, those pockets are deep.
Yeah, I mean, the talent that they've traded away over the last couple of years, and then they still can find a way. It just that's what makes the Reds job so much harder, is because you have to compete with that. But if you're smart, it can balance a lot of that stuff out. All right, we got another one. Yo boy Pop Tart. That is a elite name. Love that. Who do you think will be brought up next for Cincy? I will take the cop-out answer and do like a reliever.
That's what I was going to say too.
Whoever the next reliever they could DFA after Sunday. I think CES, it
has to be, right?
Well, I mean, I think CES is an injury. So, I mean, look, sure, if I think, Spencer Steer got hurt tomorrow, I think CES is right up. So, but I think that's kind of what they're waiting for with him. And I think it makes sense because I just don't think there's enough spots in the lineup that you could bring him up, get him everyday at bats, and not take away other at bats from other people. I don't know. It's hard to see Connor Phillips getting up before him, but maybe it just depends if there's not injuries. If there's not injuries, he might be the next one. Am I missing someone?
No, I think those two are pretty clearly the next two in line. The thing with CES is, what does calling him up to play every third day do? Who does that help? I mean, yeah, granted, he might help the Reds once every third day, but that's not helping CES. And we're playing for so much more than 1 year. Getting him at bats, down there every day is much more beneficial than having him sit on the bench like TJ Hopkins did for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think it's a much different conversation if we get into August and the Reds are still in a race. Then I think you probably can't. But honestly, by the time August rolls around, there'll probably be an injury that makes him come up anyway. So it probably is a mute point there. But yeah, I mean, another cop-out answer would be Stuart Fairchild. He's going to be back up at some point.
He's just going to get on that bus back and forth as many times as possible this year, I have a feeling.
That is true. They've already used that option. It only counts once. I got some good questions. Let's fire them away. I love it.
Let's go.
Love it. You guys are helping us out, trying to grind through this a little bit. All right, Reds Daily 4. Great follow on Twitter if you're not. If you think of how many pitchers are in the minor leagues, it's wild to look at the stats every day and see how little pitching prospects there actually are. Yeah. I mean, I would say the Reds' top end pitching prospects though are really, really good, like Phillips and Petty. I think that's a fair point. I don't think they have enough depth. I think they need to improve that, and that's maybe where you trade a certain player at the deadline. You get some pitching prospects, even if they're quite a ways away, and you kind of just improve that depth because the Reds do need more depth throughout their system. What's your thoughts on this?
No, I totally agree. I think pitcher is definitely an area we lack. I mean, we dominated the fielder market last year on the trade deadline. I mean, with the big names, but with guys like Hector Rodriguez and the Tyler Naquin trade, stuff like that's how we're going to keep this team alive. Now we just got to do it with pitchers, and I have every bit of faith that Nick Krall is going to be able to wheel and deal and get us, probably a top 20 guy by this time next year.
Point here by Jim: if the Cubs and Brewers make moves and the Reds do nothing and don't make the playoffs, fans will be pissed. I mean, I think fans are going to be pissed if they make the playoffs or not. The only thing I would caution here is look at the Twins last year. I mean, they traded Spencer Steer and Christian Encarnacion Strand for Tyler Mahle, and they still missed the playoffs. So there's always the possibility that you do go all out. I know everything's been great about this team, but we do have a lot of really unproven players. As much as like we love what Matt McClain and Ellie De La Cruz and Spencer Steer and Will Benson are doing, we don't really know how they're going to react to their first 162 game season. So I think you have to kind of weigh that in. I think if there's a move that makes sense where you're not giving up a ton of prospect capital or a pitcher that has a couple years left and it's players that you feel are expendable, then yeah, I mean, I think you could look at that. But I don't think you should be in a rush to do it just because we want to keep the vibes up. I think that's a reason why. I think that's the main reason why the first rebuild took as long as it did, because we were too scared to make the tough moves.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. It felt like we held on to fan favorites way too long, diminished their value too far, and by the time we dumped them, we're getting pennies on the dollar. That's my worry with a lot of these guys. I mean, everyone pounds the table to keep Jonathan India just because they love him and, he's a leader and everything. But at some point, putting the best 9 out there on the field that can help the team win night in and night out is what's important. And it's not how you look cool. It's not, leading in the locker room, which it obviously does help. But how do and building the farm up and keeping a deep farm system is how you do that for a decade plus.
Good point here by Alex. Should MLB bring back the waiver deadline? Yeah, I mean, I think especially when you look at how few teams are going to be for sure sellers at the deadline, because everyone kind of thinks they're in it, or almost everyone kind of thinks they're still in it. I think it would make sense to either move back the trade deadline or go back to the waiver deadline. I think they got rid of the waiver deadline because they felt it was unfair to certain teams because of spending and stuff like that. But any thoughts on that one, Jacob?
No, I think, that's kind of – I feel like the waiver deadline's been gone for a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, a couple years. I'm trying to think who was was Kevin Gossman the last big Reds one that they got off the waiver wire? They got him in 2019. I know a lot of people won't remember he was a Red. But yeah. Yeah, draft a pitcher in the first round. I got to be honest, I do not follow the MLB draft, so I have zero expertise on this. We're going to have Bryce Spalding on Sunday for postgame, and then that'll hopefully be right before the draft. So hopefully get a little bit of his input on that, and then I'll talk to him a little bit more maybe later on that night for the podcast about who the Reds draft. Also, maybe I'll even try to reach out to someone in the Reds organization to kind of talk about who they drafted. But I don't know. I'm a big, best available. I don't really care if it's high school. I don't care if it's college. I don't care if it's pitcher. I don't care if it's position player. I don't think you could ever look with a draft at trying to fill needs. I don't know.
No, I couldn't agree more. I like the draft. I like looking at the prospects. I love college baseball, so I think that's part of it. I watch these guys most of the year, so trying to see where they're going to end up, I really enjoy it. If there's any chance these top 5 guys fall to 7, this is one of the most loaded top 5s in maybe the history of the MLB draft, at least on paper. You obviously don't know how they're going to pan out, but those 3 college bats and the 2 prep outfielders are all 5 unbelievable players. Then you got guys like Rhett Lauder, who Paul Skeens is in a world of his own, but he's the best pitcher outside of Paul Skeens in college baseball this year. And everyone's talking about him going to be there at 7. I mean, like you said, don't draft for need, but that's a starting pitching prospect that'll bolster the farm for sure. You have guys like Kyle Teal. What's your faith in Tyler Stevenson as a long-term catcher in this organization? Kyle Teal has been playing baseball at a high level at Virginia for a long time. He's got a lot of miles, but he on paper, you think he could contribute quicker than almost anyone projected in that top 10 position player-wise. So Kyle Teal is one name that I really like.
Jacob, I didn't know you were a college baseball expert. How about that? Love that.
I'm a big college baseball. When you go to school in the SEC, you kind of have to watch college baseball.
That is true. I think it's a little bit different than up on the Midwest. All right, good stuff, man. Who's your favorite random Reds player? I loved Paul Janisch back in the day.
Paul Janisch was good. I'll always be a Drew Stubbs guy. I got that dirty shirt giveaway, and I wore that thing. It was an XL, and I was about 8 years old, and it went down past my knees, and I wore that thing till the dirt fell off the front. So I'll always be a Drew Stubbs guy.
The shirt where it had like the dirt splattered on? I'm about to crush your dreams here, Jacob.
That was Stubbs?
No, that was Ryan Friel, brother.
Oh! Well, I thought it was Drew Stubbs.
They wore the same. They wore the same
Ryan
number.
Friel.
They wore the same number. Yeah, I guess Ryan Friel was your guy.
Yeah, I guess so. I thought it was Drew Stubbs.
You were probably in diapers when Ryan Friel was playing.
Oh yeah.
Rest in peace, Ryan. He was a fun player, man. He was a fun player. David Brown, you're playing with fire here, brother.
That's what I have him. I can't turn all the way around, but I have a Diaz jersey on right now. I'll be real upset.
I get the premise, and I'm not hating on it, and I'm a big, hey, you can't be afraid to make the tough moves. I don't know, it could be the Josh Hader situation where you do something like that, and then, you really, I think the Brewers probably last year were going to, what they did in the second half was probably what they were going to do with or without Hader. But, man, when you make a trade like that and then it does go south, that just becomes the focal point that everyone's going to hammer every single night. So, man, if you make a move like that and it goes south, man, you better be ready to take it.
I would be in no rush to look to trade Diaz. I mean, he's an unbelievable closer. I know these last couple starts have gotten a little interesting, but, I mean, he's been great this year.
So Jen brings up a good point. What is good does it do to have a good farm system but never win anything at the MLB level? I mean, I'd argue that the Reds have had a lot of bad farm systems that didn't win anything at the MLB level. So I get it. I mean, I think there might be times where maybe you need to be a little bit more aggressive. I just don't think right now, when you still have so many guys that haven't even made their major league debuts, I don't think now is the time to be pushing in too many chips. I get what Jim's saying, and I appreciate the comment. I don't know. I don't really. I can't go that route.
Yeah, I mean, I love the expectations forming around this team and how much fun everyone's having, but let's play the long game here. Remember, these guys haven't even played 100 games together yet. Like, let's calm down with trying to go all in to win one of the worst divisions in baseball this year.
Russell Branyan, there you go.
There's some good names in the chat over here.
Was Bronson Arroyo really random though? I mean,
they've been running that interview with him before every game for the last month.
I mean, he's a Reds Hall of Famer. He's a Reds Hall of Famer. I mean, Devin Mesoraco was an all-star. I think we're looking for more obscure. That's what I thought the comment was talking about. I don't know. I might have read it wrong. But
Yasiel Puig was thrown around in the chat. He wasn't here for long, but man, did he make a splash when he was here.
All right, here we go. Here's a good one. Which Reds player homers tomorrow?
You got to go someone weird. Can't take the normal guesses. Ellie, no. You just did. I mean, Spencer Steer's got to go yard soon, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think Jake Fraley be the easy one because he already hit a home run. He's 3-for-3 against him. I'm going to go TJ Friedl. I think TJ Friedel's going to step up. He's going to hit. I'm going to go further. Leadoff home run. Set the tone right after, a tough loss. Come out there. That feels like TJ Friedl. Or he'll bunt. It's going to be one. It's one of the two. Either a bunt or it's going 400 feet. Nothing in between.
TJ Friedl, what a year he's been having. Unbelievable.
The one thing I got right was TJ Friedl. I got a lot wrong, but I was big on Friedl. Miguel Cairo, that is Commander Cairo to you, Noah. You probably don't. Do you remember that reference?
I don't know.
Do you know who Miguel Cairo is?
I do not.
Oh, Jacob.
I'm sorry.
My brother in Christ. Oh, man.
I'm sorry.
Oh, Miguel Cairo. How do you describe Miguel Cairo? Miguel Cairo was I guess kind of like the 2010 through 2012 Kevin Newman.
Okay.
I mean, a little bit different. He was like that guy on the bench. He had an incredible year in 2010. He was just like the guy that filled in, and he played like 1 out of every 5 days. He had some take jobs, but he was like this grizzly veteran, and I think it was before like the 2012 postseason. He got the nickname Commander Cairo, and I thought it was great.
That is a good one.
Fun fact: his son is playing in the Dragons League for the Dayton Single A affiliate. So
cool.
Cairo lives on.
I like Aaron Willis's guess over here. He said he's going to guess that India grounds into another double play. I will also guess that India grounds into a double off of Friedel's leadoff bunt.
Yeah, I hope India first inning tank job.
I hope India's batting 7th.
Calm people down. DeAndre Navarro. That's man, Mr. Juan. He's had some good ones. You have no idea who that is either,
I
do you?
don't know. We're getting when I was way too young.
Backup catcher in 2012 had a hell of a year. He like raked all year in AAA, and like it was kind of like, why aren't the Reds calling him up? They had Devin Mesoraco, but Devin Mesoraco was like just getting his feet wet. Wasn't really that good yet, and they finally called him up, and he was really good for the Reds in his like 2-month span. Started Game 4 of the NLDS.
Well, that went great.
Yeah, was his? I think he had a hit in the game though.
We'll take
that. It wasn't his fault, man. Mike Leake was toast at that point that year. He had nothing to do with that. I don't know who Jeff Austin is. I think he stumped me.
That has to take a lot to stump Nick Kirby.
Jeff Austin doesn't even come up. I have to type in baseball. So, all right. I mean, like he doesn't.
You win up. Most obscure Red.
He made 7 starts with the Reds in 2003. First year at Great American Ballpark. That's a good one, Mr. Juan. Love that. Willie Moe was fun.
Jumbo Diaz.
All right, explain yourself. Why do you hate Jonathan?
All right. I don't hate Jonathan India. That is not the case here. I'm not an India hater. I just don't see a future for Jonathan India on this team because I don't think he's going to play anywhere other than second base. And I don't think his value is anywhere other than second base. I don't think he's a very good second baseman. So it's not like we're waiting on a bunch of question marks here. We have Matt McClain and Ellie De La Cruz. Ellie De La Cruz should be playing shortstop already. That's a bigger issue. But we have a middle infield that's already up here and producing on a defensive and offensive level. Noel Marte, if he doesn't work out, we have much bigger problems than Jonathan India. So that's my infield. I don't think India has a place in it. And I think right now at the deadline or at the very latest in the offseason, which is probably more realistic, I think Jonathan India has to be off this team.
And I love it. I could do this all night, just reading people's random names. But all right, well, good stuff. Well, thanks everyone. We'll wrap it up here. We'll be back tomorrow. We're gonna be talking about a dub. Shay's on tomorrow. Shay's on a 1-game winning streak after the poor guy saw so many losses, was on postgame. So Shay will be back tomorrow. I feel good. You feel good tomorrow? I feel good about tomorrow.
I feel good tomorrow.
Mouse Cop feels good about tomorrow. I think Dreamweaver's going to do it. I think he's going to do the thing. I think he's going to come out. I think he's going to pitch well. I feel good. If
you can get a Dreamweaver good outing, you know everything's lining up well.
Yeah, this is the one good thing about a dome is doing this show, man. If you look at my phone, whenever the Reds go to a city, I have to put that city into my weather app because I gotta know like, is the game on time? Like the game on Thursday like completely messed up. Like like my plans with the kids. We try to do this as much as we can. Live right after. So yeah, I got all these random. I got Washington D.C. I got to get that off there. Not playing back there again. So
it was more time up in the Northeast.
It was very nice that I did not have to put Milwaukee into my phone with their dome. But somehow it's going to get rained out. Some that their dome's not going to close or something. Now that I say that. So, well, Jacob, this was awesome. We'll have you on again at some point. Maybe we'll get you on in September when you're down in Alabama on a Tuesday night or something. And you can go live from the scene down in the SEC. How about that?
That sounds like a plan. I would love it. Thanks for having me on, Nick.
Yeah, brother. I appreciate it. All right. Well, have a great night. Subscribe, like, do all that stuff. Have a great night.